today we are going to be combining a few lessons in Chapter 8. And so this lesson is going to be about bar graphs, histograms, and stem and leaf plots. So these are all different types of graphs and ways to display data that we're going to learn about. Bar graphs you should be very familiar with, and then histograms and stem and leaf plots may be new to you, but these are all options of graphs that you can use on your project when we start that next class. So this first example, we're going to be creating a bar graph. It says use the data in the table to create a bar graph. So we have our data right here in our table, and we have to display it in a chart, in a bar graph. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out my labels. Okay. So we have names and we have ages. So I'm going to put names at the bottom of my graph here, and ages are going to go right here. Okay, notice I left room so that I can fill out like the names and the ages. So the first thing I'm going to do is write the names. Okay, so on the bottom we need to write all 5 of the names that are shown. So I'm going to abbreviate because I don't want to write all of it. So Sharon is going to be S, Austin will do AU, Aiden will be AI, Sean will be SH, and then Elise will be E. Okay. So now I need to write the ages on the left. So my ages are right here, 3, 4, 8, 7, and 5. But I need to put other numbers on there to show what my graph is going up by. So I am going to just do, so 0 is always right there. And we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I don't need any more than 8 because 8 is the oldest, which is Aiden. So now I just have to create my bar graphs. So for Sharon, she's 3 years old. So I'm going to draw a bar graph where 3 is at, like that. Austin is 4. So his is going to go up a little bit more than that. Okay. You want to try and make it as neat as possible so that you can actually read it and know what ages they are. Aiden is 8 years old, so that's going to go up. Sean is 7. It's going to go there. And then Elise is 5. So it should look something like that, and that is our bar graph. Okay. So histograms is what we're going to learn next, and those are very similar to bar graphs. Okay. So a histogram is a bar graph that shows the frequency of data values in intervals of the same size. So when it says intervals, okay, that's the key word. That's the main difference between bar graphs and histograms. So if you look over here at this example, okay, when it says intervals, that's 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39. Those are all intervals. Okay, so instead of just having one set number at the bottom, it has a range of them. So that's what the difference is. Okay, and notice they're always touching. Okay, so it's a little neater because you don't have to space them out as much. So this shows that number of CDs is at the bottom. So this means 4 people owned 0 to 9 CDs. 3 people owned 10 to 19 CDs. 1 person owned 20 to 29 CDs, and so on. So that's the difference between a histogram and a bar graph. Okay. So the frequency table shows the numbers of laps that people in a swimming class completed today. Display the data in a histogram. So this is a frequency table. Okay. Frequency tables usually come with histograms. That's how you put the data into a table. Okay. So to do this, we're going to put number of laps on the bottom, number of laps, and then frequency is going to go on the right. And it gives us our x-axis, what's going to go on the bottom. So our first interval is going to be 1 to 3. And our next one is 4 to 6. And then 7 to 9. Then 10 to 12. And then 13 to 15. Now for our frequency, we can see it goes up to 11, right? Okay, 0 to 11. So that means over on the left, it has to go up to at least 11. So I'm just going to number them up to 11. There we go. So this means that 11 students completed 1 to 3 laps. So that means this, my bar or my histogram, has to go up to 11 on this first one. So it would look like that. Okay. And remember, they always touch. So on this next one, for 4 to 6 laps, there were 4 people. I have to go up to 4, and they're going to touch like that. Okay. For 7 to 9, there were 0, so I just leave it blank. I don't do anything. For 10 to 12, there were 3. So it's going to be a little bit lower than the 4 to 6. And then 13 to 15 was 6. So this has to go up to 6. So my histogram should look like that. Okay. So hopefully you're understanding the difference between a bar graph and a histogram, but the main difference is that there's intervals down here instead of just one set number, like up here, or one set category. It's an interval. Okay. So on this one, we have to create the frequency table and histogram. So for our frequency table, we're going to take this set of data and we're going to write the tally marks of how many are in each interval, and then we're going to write the frequency, and then we'll create our histogram. So I need to go through here. I need to find all of the numbers that are between 30 and 39. So there's 31, and that's it. So my tally would just be 1. So now we got to go 40 to 49. And there's none. Okay. So then 50 to 59, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to put 4 tally marks. Oh, wrong one. 4 tally marks there. And then for 60 to 69, that should be the rest of them. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I put 7 tally marks. So my frequency for 30 to 39 is 1. My frequency for 40 to 49 is 0. My frequency for 50 to 59 is 4. And my frequency for 60 to 69 is 7. So now I need to graph it. Okay. So on the bottom, I'm going to label it, because I use the label right here, so it's bags. This is bag, and over on the right is going to be frequency. All right. So to do this, okay, we got to start writing our x-axis, our labels for bags. So we would have 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, and 60 to 69. Okay. So for 30 to 39, there was, well, I got to do this side. So we noticed our frequencies go up to 7. So I need to label it up to 7. So start with 0, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I usually go up until I fill the top, but it's up to you. So for 30 to 39, I had 1. So that one's going to be pretty small. We'll go there. For 40 to 49, I had 0, so I just leave it blank. I don't do anything with it. 50 to 59, there were 4. And then 60 to 69, I had 7. So I'm going to draw that up to 7. So it would look like that. Okay. Now keep in mind, you're going to be choosing one of these graphs among some others of what you want to do for your survey project. Okay. All right, flip your page over. We're going to learn about one last way to display your data. So this page is stem and leaf plots. A stem and leaf plot displays data by breaking each data point into 2 parts, the stem and the leaf. So there's an example right here, and it shows you that this is all the data up at the top, and they broke it down into a stem and leaf. So on this, the stem basically represents the tens place. Okay, so it shows you this 32, they put the 3 in the stem, and then the 2 was the leaf. Okay. So they took the tens place and put it in the stem, and then the rest of the numbers would be the leaf. Okay, so even though it's broken apart like this, that 3 and that 2 represents 32. Okay, it's just another way to show and display data. So we're going to create a stem and leaf plot using the data below. So the first thing I need to do is figure out the numbers that are going to be in my stem. Okay, so I can see I have a 5 right here. So in front of that 5 would be a 0. So I'm going to start with 0. I have a 12, so I'm going to have a 1, because that would represent the tens place. I have a 24, so that would represent, or the 2 would represent the 20. And then I have a 30, so that would be 3. And I have a 48, so that would be 4. Let me do that. So then I just go ahead and I put in all my numbers. So the ones that will start with 0 are 5, 4, 4, and 7. And they need to go in order. So I would put 4, 4, 5, 7. Okay. And when you keep going, like when I start with the tens place, you're going to want to make sure that they are all lined up nicely so that it's easy to see. Like this one, it is lined up very nicely. So then I have my tens. So we have 12, 17, 13. Okay, so 12 would go first. So I'm just going to put the 2. Then I put the 3 for 13. And then I put the 7 for 17. Okay, then we do the 20s. So 24, 22, 25. So 22, it would just be 2. A 4 would represent 24, and then a 5 would represent 25. Then for our 30s, we just have a 30, so I'm going to put a 0 right there. That would represent 30. And then lastly, we have in the 40s, and that would just be 48, so I'd put an 8 right there. I'm going to cross these off, make sure I have all of them written down. So I should have 13, 4, 7, 10. Uh-oh, did I miss one? Shoot, I did. Okay, what did I miss? Oh, I missed 31. Okay, so there should be a 1 right there with the 30. Sorry. And that is how you create a stem and leaf plot. So on this one, I want you to try it on your own first. You can go ahead and create the stem and leaf plot. Usually the stem is shorter than the leaf part because there's going to be more numbers in the leaf. But go ahead, I want you to try it on your own. So go ahead and pause it, and then you can fast forward at the end to see if you got the same thing. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to find my lowest number because then I know where to start with my stem. There's a 75, 78, 73. All right, so I'm going to start with 7. Then I should have 8, 9, and then 10. Okay. So this one's a little bit trickier because it has a number with 3 digits. All that means is you take both. So you take the 10 and you put it with the stem. So on the leaf part, you should always just have one number every time. So first, I'm going to look for all the numbers that are in the 70s. So we have 75, 78, and 73. So I'm going to put a 3, a 5, and an 8. And then I move on to the 80s, and I have 87, 82, 86, 82, 80, and 89. Okay. So I'm going to start with 80. So I'm going to put a 0. Then I have 82 and 82. So I have 2 82. So I'm going to put 2 and 2. Notice how I'm lining them up nicely. Then we have 86 and 87. So a 6 and a 7. And then a 9 for 89. Now we're going to do the 90s. So you have 95, 91, 93, and that should be it. So I'm going to put a 1, a 3, and a 5. And then lastly, we do the hundreds, and it should just be the 101. So I'm just going to put a 1 there. I'm going to cross them off, make sure I got all of them. And I did. Okay. I would always go back and double check that you wrote down all of them, because that's a mistake that students miss the most. Okay. Remember, you're going to have to choose one of these graphs to do your survey project on, as well as the dot plots that we learned about last week. So keep those in mind.